Just enjoy being there, lying on the bed. Just feel the weight of the body, so all the body parts resting on the bed. And just paying attention to the breath. So you don't need to particularly change the breath, but just pay attention. Imagine somewhere you feel safe. So it might be just like this on your bed, or maybe another place, or maybe on the beach, or in the forest, or wherever you feel the safest, probably away from other people. And you don't need to worry about anyone, because you are just on your own, and it's totally safe. Just feel the softness of the bed, and feel the shape you are making with your body on the bed. So it might be just like lying on the beach, then the shape of the body remains on the sand. And some part has got sort of deeper it gets deeper, and some part not so much. Start from the pelvis. Just thinking about the front of the pelvis. Which part digs into the sand deeper, and which part is not. Maybe just touching the sand, or maybe slightly away from the sand. Oh, the softness of the tummy. Just feel into the tummy and see how it moves with your breath. Tummy expanding as you breathe in, and contracting as you breathe out. And just observing from outside rather than try to make it happen. Also feeling the warmth of the tummy as well. And with the breath, see how your energy expand and contract. So it's all start from the core, the bandha, maybe like 3 fingers below the navel. So the energy radiates from that point and comes back to that point, like a gentle breathing. And the energy radiates all directions, so to the sides, right and left, and up and down, towards the head and towards the feet, and also below and above, so towards the ground and towards the sky. So three-dimensional, it's all expanding to all the directions and contracting and gathering back. And now tuning into the sacrum, the backbone of the middle of the pelvis. That also expands and contracts energy-wise. So make sure you are not holding on to it. So just allow the sacrum to move with your breath and with the movement of the lower abdominal. Remember, you are in a very safe space where you don't need to worry about anyone else. No hesitation, you can expand as much as you want or as little as you want. And coming back to the core. As well as the sacrum, the big bone in the middle of the sacrum, the tip of the sacrum, the tailbone, the coccyx, try to feel that as well. So this little part also has got some movement that happens with your breath. So just making sure that you're not blocking the movement. And having a little bit wider focus, and it just includes the buttocks, the glutes muscles as well. And just see how they are responding with your breath and all this expansion and contraction that is happening with the breath. So when you breathe in, the muscles, the buttocks expands and really enjoying the space. Then as you breathe out, just soften the muscles and just get the feeling of them coming back. So in a way, the whole pelvis feels like widening as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, narrowing. But in a way that the balloon shrinks with the air coming out. So actually, you're not actually making any effort, just letting go. Then the balloon shrinks, so the pelvis can shrink. So when you breathe in, you actually sort of making an effort in a way to expand and widen the pelvis. And as you breathe out, just releasing, so the air comes out and then the balloon shrinks, the pelvis shrinks. And just think of this movement as a massage you are doing for yourself. So in either directions, too much is too much. Anything that you feel the most natural and most beneficial for you, that is the right thing to do. And having a vision of the piriformis muscles as well. Little muscles, but they can expand and contract as well. or rather expand and just letting go, releasing. Imagine the space just behind the piriformis where the sciatic nerves go through. So if the muscles are nice and smooth and very responsive to your breath and movement, so they're not compressing the sciatic nerve can just rest and lie there. And having enough space for themselves. All the signals from the brain through the spinal cord, then coming out to the sciatic nerves, going down on the legs. So this signal can go through smoothly without interference. Moving down on the legs, upper legs. So start from the back of the legs where the hamstrings are. The hamstrings attaches to the sitting bones, the big bones on the pelvis at the bottom. And going down to the knees. And these muscles, the mainly three muscles going through the middle part, the inside and then outside. So they are breathing with your breath as well. So very small, subtle movement, but expanding as you breathe in and releasing and letting go as you breathe out. So keep them soft and keep them responsive. And also the inner thighs. They are also closely connected to the pelvis. And front of the thighs, the quads. The four muscles and connecting from the ASIS, which are hip bones on the pelvis, and down towards the kneecaps. Big muscles, strong muscles. And they can be so responsive as well. Breathe in and expand, having enough space. And as you breathe out, releasing, letting go. With your breath, you can give the massage, but also you can clean the muscles as well. So just imagine as you breathe out all the tension, stress, toxins, these things can be released. Especially the top part of the quads, the sort of growing area, hips area, just give enough space in there. So there are lots of muscles going through there, the quads, also the psoas, and also the adductors. Each single muscle can have enough space. And they are responsive. They want to be fluid and soft. And coming down through the thighs towards the knees and around the kneecap and around the knee joint. Again, imagine enough space in there, so the muscles and then tendons, they can be also be themselves and expressing enough. Try to hold the space for them so they can breathe and expand and contract or letting go. And again, cleaning with out breath. So when you breathe in, you're taking the oxygen, so it's very nutritious. As you breathe out, letting the stress, tension, toxins. And have really lots of compassion towards the knees. They tend to work really hard, and sometimes bones grind each other and stuff. We just try to get on with the activities. We have to walk, we have to go upstairs, downstairs, all these things, and the knees can take quite lots of strain. Very hard working knees. But now this is the time for the knees to rest and recuperate. Okay, then coming down to the lower legs. So 2 bones, tibia and fibula. They're connecting from the knees to the ankles. And the muscle between the bones. And a little bit on the front of the lower legs. And then the big calf muscles on the back. So they can breathe in and expand, and then breathe out and release. So in a way, it feels quite far from the pelvis, so it's quite far from the heart. But you can just have a connection between the calves and also the pelvis and heart. So there's blood going through and breath going through, the energy going through. And also the ankles, joints. That takes lots of weight, lots of tendons. And very important for walking. Just acknowledge them and give a space. And all the tendons, bones, and muscles going across their breathing. And including the heels. Feet. Okay, again, try to connect your feet to the pelvis, to the heart, and if you can, to the brain, to the head as well. And there's a breath going through, all the way through the body, from the feet, pelvis, the heart, and brain. And with the breath, the energy going through as well. So the whole body is connected, whole body is breathing and expanding and contracting in a very gentle way. Like if you think about a tree, the root is on the ground and taking all the water and the nutrition and sucking up all the way up to the top of the branches and leaves, and they flower and all these things happen. But constantly this activity is going on without even thinking about it. So just let this breath go through, and you're just tuning into it. In a way, there's nothing to do, no effort to make, and just let the body do what it's meant to be doing. And you're just tuning into it so you can get the most benefit from it. Very nurturing activity. And it can be slow, like the tree grows very slowly, most of the trees. It's constant, it's never stopping. Keep the connection from the feet, so your feet are the roots in the ground of a tree, and the legs, the pelvis, and now focus on the rib cage, but try not to lose your root. And particularly just observing how the rib cage moves with your breath, and how the energy spreads from your core, through the spine, going out and in, also going up and down. You may be able to visualize some pattern, or maybe not. It might be changing constantly, or you might not feel any patterns. But just let the rib cage and the spine do what they want to do. And your job is just to take all the blockage out. So you might be holding somewhere without noticing. Maybe muscle between the rib cage, or maybe along the spine. So just to make sure the energy can go through smoothly and most efficiently. And also tuning into the shoulders. So having all this picture from your feet, legs, pelvis, the core, and tummy, rib cage, and then now particularly sort of looking at the shoulders. So it's quite complicated structure, it's the shoulders, but all the bones can breathe. So the muscles around the shoulders can breathe as well. Especially feeling the space just behind the clavicle, the collarbones, or slightly back on the shoulders, and around the shoulder blades, and underneath the shoulder blades also. And shoulder joints, arms, and elbows, lower arms, wrists, and the palms of the hands, and fingers. And I have a big picture now also from the arms, shoulders, connected to the shoulder blades and close to the rib cage, spine, pelvis, legs and feet. It's feeling lots of space around them. The body might be like a balloon again, so expanding and contracting and letting go. Very fluid form, so there's no set or fixed form of the body. So they can expand slightly different ways every time in a different direction. So the shape of the balloon changing freely. Now include your neck and also the head in this balloon. The head itself is like a little balloon already. So just see, focusing on the head, see if you can feel this expanding and contracting and releasing with your breath. So in the head, there are like small muscles on your face or maybe around the head. So the big muscle, they're not big, but big in the head. We want to just pay attention is muscles in the jaw. So we tend to hold the jaw when we are stressed. So just tuning into the jaw, so just sort of below the ear holes. Just imagine this part is expanding and contracting with your breath. So they can get the fluidity back. And also big muscle in your mouth, which is a tongue. The tongue connects to the deep in the throat and connecting all the muscles through the neck. So just feeling a connection from the tongue, throat, and that goes down to the heart. So all these complicated small muscles are also breathing. expanding and contracting. And having a whole picture of the tongue and throat to the heart, and also the jaws and whole head. Everything is expanding and contracting, releasing. And that's the same thing on the shoulders and the arms. And also the rib cage and the spine, coming all the way down to the sacrum and the pelvis and the tummy, and buttocks. The thighs, front and back, and also inner thighs, and knees, calves, and feet. So now looking at the whole body, everything is expanding and contracting. Also coming back to the image of the tree. So your feet, the root, is drinking water and sucking nutrition to nurture everything above. And your head might be as free as the branches growing towards the sky. And now expanding the balloon of the body a little bit bigger, so it's including the space around the body. So it's a bit like making a cocoon around you, and the whole this cocoon is breathing and contracting. And you are well protected. It's nice and soft, very comfortable. You can just focus on your growth. And expanding the cocoon a little bit wider, so you're creating space for yourself a little bit more. And when you feel ready to come out from the cocoon, just slowly come out. Just giving birth to yourself, to the world, which might not be so safe. And sometimes we have to protect ourselves. Just remember, well, you have the resource you stored in the cocoon. So always you can mentally come back to that space where you feel very safe. Okay.